Billy Connolly. I do believe he's here. Oh, there he is. 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 How are you? How are you?
Nice to see you, man.
Sit down. Good to see you. Fantastic.
Jesus.
No, don't do it again. No, we don't want that to happen. It happened before with you-know-who. How are you then?
I'm doing great.
How was tonight?
It was brilliant, yeah. It's really good.
Why was it really good particularly? Was packed to capacity, of course?
Ireland's always good, you know. It's the good audience. I don't know why it should be, but they're very good.
You are some boy. You sold out in record time. 20 nights in Dublin, 10 nights Belfast, 2 nights Derry, 2 nights in Waterford, without Cork, Clonmel or wherever else.
I don't know.
What is this thing you have, Mr. Connolly, for the Irish people?
Talent. Tell you, no, I'm only kidding. I don't know. It's been I've been on the road for a long time. Out live, you know.
I know, 4 months.
As opposed to sort of... no, I mean in my career, in my life.
Okay,
you know, I've been working live for a long time, and most people they get fed up with television guys. You know, it's a kind of It's just that television stuff is so it's nice and it's good, and Rowan Atkinson's good and Absolutely Fabulous is good, and there's lots of great people, but it gets kind of neutered. It doesn't resemble the humour that people actually have, you know, and because people are really quite dirty. And raw, not dirty, because there's no such thing as dirty. But I deliver the stuff in the raw, and people like it, and they know what to expect, and they get it. And I like it. I find it very funny, and I find the Irish very funny, and I find Ireland very funny. Man, I was in the Kilkenny shop. I used to go there. I go for cups of tea, and a man with a cowboy hat. Ireland's such a funny place. He came up. At first I thought I knew him, you know, because I'm getting quite old. As you can see, I've got the winter plumage on. And now when I see guys who I used to play with in bands, they look like you. They look me.
I know.
You know, I think everybody stays the same with black hair and all that. These old guys, I used to play in a band with you. And my children say, Daddy, do you know him? He's an old guy. So, but this guy, and I thought I knew him, and he kind of winked over. And only in Ireland, he had a cup of tea with his friends, and then he came back over, and he had a wee bag, like a wee bag. You would buy a wee brooch would come in, a wee paper bag, and a serviette. He had written, you know when you write on a serviette, it all tears and all that, and he had written all that. He said, Dear Billy, you're brilliant. Welcome to Dublin. Have a chocolate mouse. And he gave me a chocolate mouse. Now, I don't know how you feel as Irish men and women, but there's nowhere else in the world anybody would give you a chocolate mouse. And I was happy as Larry. I was watching David Letterman eating my chocolate mouse in my bed. And this morning I met another woman, a nice wee woman with a cardigan, and I was sharing a table with her. The poor woman nearly fainted in a restaurant. Is anybody sitting here? Because you don't think you're famous. I'm sure you're exactly the same in Dublin yourself. You don't go around saying, I'm a famous person, I'm a famous person. You just think, I'm a bloke, and I don't feel too hot. You sound awful. You feel
I know, awful. Doesn't matter.
Do you know what to do, incidentally?
What? Honey tea.
No, honey and vinegar.
You're right.
What is it? Apple cider vinegar. I did it tonight, because I get very rough, you know.
Do you? Yeah.
A teaspoon of honey, 3 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, and a little hot water, as much as you can bear without hurting yourself, and gargle 3 times. Bingo. Guaranteed. Absolutely. Trust me.
Anyway, this little woman, sat down beside her. Yes.
You know, sometimes you think the primitive things are the best, you know. This woman, I said, Jesus, cold out there. It's freezing. I said, the sun's shining. It's bloody freezing. And she says, but it's going to be a lovely summer. And I said, oh, really? She says, yes, the dolphins are in Kerry.
She's right. She's right.
Hey.
She's right. She's right. She's right. You see, last year, Last year, we got a report on the radio programme that the dolphins were in early and they were in close and everything else, and we had a fantastic summer, as you know. And this year, the dolphins are in about the same time.
What can you say?
What can you say?
No, everybody see. No, I liked her. Now that, I can trust that. If I'm in Scotland and a guy says to me, it's going to be a long winter, there's a lot of berries on the holly. It's going to be this, the rabbit's arse is shaved. I don't know, you know the way they go. The deer farts twice in the full moon. Moo! Definitely autumn short, winter long, 7 o'clock, and the seagull will have blue hair in its upper lip. You've got to trust them, because there's centuries of thing, you know.
Behind.
No, but see, I now believe it's going to be a good summer. Now, it can pelt from here to December. It was a long summer, because the woman told me the dolphins were in Kerry. And I want weathermen to come out. That's the world I want to live in. See, I am tired of wee men with cardigans, dull-looking buggers coming out. Changeable weather. What's that? It's changeable. And it's cloudy. Oh, really? God, he's got a degree. You can tell. Do you know what I saw a man... right, this man gets paid, right? The English ones with the pockets full of fluffy clouds. It's going to be a... Do they think we're retarded?
What did you see? What did you see? You saw what?
I don't know. I don't know.
I want to just...
Wait,
what?
The guy, the man, he says, when you hear this, it'll be changeable today, he says. And wait for this molten bronze droplet of weather wisdom. And windy on the coast. I mean, you'd get the kids in the car for that one. Come on. This is something you should see. Wind on the coast. And after I'm dead, you can tell people that my father took me and showed me the wind. See, now, if a weatherman come out and to me, you know, they said, if it's you go here, and that was the news. Everybody's dead in Bosnia, and there's a peace process has started again. And now the weather from Hamish McTumshay, and a man came out and said, it's going to be a long summer, the dolphins are back. I would go, well, I'll stay with this station, this will do me. You know what I mean?
I will not let you away before somebody starts butting you in and getting you off on a different tangent. I will not. What?
She thinks this is her jacket.
I will not let you go. When you did the link up to LA with Christy Moore's special, I said to you then, the next time you're with us, tell them about your daddy and the three-wheeler Reliant.
Oh, yes.
Classes.
Oh, my father. Aye, my father. He's dead now. He's a nice guy. He's funny enough, you know. And I think I see him a lot in Dublin. He was such an Irish-looking guy. You know how in Ireland you keep thinking you see Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy. You know, there's an awful lot of people look like Spencer Tracy in Ireland. Anyway, it may not. And do you know what's brilliant? It's great to be in a country where people have got the same kind of hair as me. I'm Celtic. You can find me in the Book of Kells. Anyway, my dad was, he never drove in his... Did you hear me? Did I tell you this before?
No, you didn't. Not on the show. No, I've heard about it.
It's nice to speak to you for real instead of a bloody satellite.
I know, yes.
Because I couldn't see you.
I know that. Right. We could see you, though.
And I was with a little gay Australian who was bullying me around. But that's another story.
I'll come back to that.
That's another... For another time, another place. The happy Australian. Right. But, oh, sorry about this. My father, he never drove. He didn't get into it. Like a lot of men of his generation, he never had the money. And then when he had the money, he didn't have much of the inclination. He was a bit scared, actually. And towards the end of his life, he bought a Reliant. He phoned me out. She said, "I've got a car. Do you want to come have a look?" And I thought, oh, my God, it was one of those fiberglass three-wheeled cars, a Reliant Robin. Now, they're probably brilliant, you know, and I've got no right to run them down, but they have certain failings, like in the winter when you're driving in the snow everybody else makes tracks in the snow. And between the tracks, there's a mound of icy crap. And that's for you, where you're like, you got a wheel in the middle, you know. And there's a great danger when you press the accelerator, you'll feel the ground against the sole of your foot. So I was up to see him, and he was coming for dinner to my house.
Glasses.
Aye. He wore glasses all the time, my father. He had several pairs of glasses. They all used to sit in his chest. He had glasses for the telly, and glasses for reading, and glasses for listening to the wireless, you know. But he came to my house and he was late, and I said, well, kept you, the dinner's drying up in here. He says, oh, jeez, he says, I drove here wearing my reading specs. I thought, oh my God, I was expecting carnage and smoke on the roads. He said, and there was a wee steamy bit in the windscreen where his nose had been. So I said, come in. And as a joke, as a whimsy, I said, you should get one of them prescription windscreens anyway. I just made it up. I said, did you get your optician to get you one of them prescription windscreens? You can forget your glasses and just drive. He says, oh, can you get there? And I said, aye, I read it in the magazine. She's too late now to deny it. I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I said, yeah, I read it in the magazine. It's a thing. You know. Bring the magazine up to me. Go on, as if you got it here. No, and I was looking in the room. Oh, I can't find it. I'll get it later. Well, he bugged me for weeks and weeks and weeks, you know. But, have you found that magazine? And I said, no. He said, because I've told the guys in the work, and I've got 7 names here. They want them as well. I said, no. Oh, my God. And then... And it kind of petered out. He must have realised that there was something amiss, so he never brought it up again. Yeah. And, you know, and after his death, I was thinking about him, you know, and I was imagining all sorts of scenarios of him having his windscreen and trying to sell the car, you know, and letting people have test drives. And people saying, Mr. Connolly, I don't understand it. Every time I drive your car, I get these terrible headaches. Or people on the motorway saying, Jesus, will you look at the size of that man's head? People looking in the rear view mirror, you know, this huge big head. Ah! It's a daft.
Ridiculous. Oh, God, it's lovely stuff. It really
the other thing I've been doing is trying to practice sneezing without closing your eyes. Because when you're driving, if you sneeze, yes, your eyes are closed for a long, long time. Just bang! Right. But the only problem with it is when you open your eyes when you sneeze, your face doesn't scrunch up like that. You go, and nobody says bless you. Because it doesn't sound like a sneeze, right? And people seeing you in the rear view mirror panic. God, there's a bad man behind us. It's okay, pass, I don't care.
Oh, dear. Tell me about the run to the Arctic. You were filming in the Arctic.
Yes, I went to near the magnetic North Pole, camping. It was a daft idea by a guy at the BBC. He said, look, they had taken, what's her name, from Joanna Lumley. She went to a desert island, and I went to the Arctic because she got first bloody choice. And it was brilliant, you know. All it was to see how I got on. They got an Inuit, an Eskimo guy. They don't like being called Eskimos. I think Eskimo means raw meat eater or something. And they're Inuit, apparently. And to show me how to make an igloo, and it fell down, you know. But I was camping in a tent, and there was nothing there. And that's when the programme apparently was very successful because there was nothing there. Because I was saying to the audience, well, actually, there's a lot of animals here, but they're all white, unfortunately. and so you can see nothing. And there was polar bears, which are extremely dangerous fellas. And so they had a guy over at the ocean because the polar bears would come from that way if they were going to get me.
Yes.
And there was a mountain range behind me and I was thinking, it'll be my luck, there'll be a sort of albino grizzly bear. Right? But it showed me how to shoot and all that, and it was... But I'll tell you the weirdest thing of all. It actually turned out to be a rather beautiful thing. I'm a bit of a hippie anyway.
And were you there alone?
I was completely alone. Well, they would come and film me in the morning, then they'd bugger off and come back the following morning and leave me all night in my tent. But it was magnificent. I didn't know that these Inuit guys, they like iceberg. Icebergs are fresh water, sitting on salt water. So that's their source of fresh water. And icebergs are blue, by the way. They're beautiful things. So, but they're sacred because their ancestors are in them. The spirits live in icebergs. And so you can't, that's your drinking water, but to get it, you have to get him to go get it. And he goes and tells it first that he's going to take some. He explains it to the iceberg, then he gives you the thing and you do the number. But them being freshwater, sitting in frozen seawater, the sea comes in under the ice and the tide goes up and down and shoves the iceberg up and down and it moans. You know, you're lying in your bed like, you're, and you look at the tent and you're like the only man on the planet. It's like sharing a room with an old guy, you know. So the Inuit would come up to see me and stuff, and I would say, Jesus, your father was giving me hell all night. He's a bit of a noisy sleeper. And they got into it, and they called the iceberg Billy Connolly. Aye, isn't that brilliant? But you must go. It's the most silent place. There's nothing. There's no noise. It is the most beautiful place.
And were you attacked by a bear?
No, it didn't. It came and it ate a thing. The bear came and it ate a walrus. And it was at the next iceberg along, you know. But it never came near me. I had a gun and everything.
Yes.
And just in case. And we could see the footprints everywhere, but obviously I'm not tasty enough.
And did you dance naked?
I did. I danced bare-assed. I had wellies.
Wellies?
Aye.
But bare-assed?
But bare, Jacksie, yes. It's become a thing, you know. In all the tour of Scotland I did it, and I just did it in Australia in the desert. It's a thing. I just love doing it. When you do it once, you can't stop. It's like swimming. You ever swim with no swimmies? It's just like being alive for the first time. Well, dancing naked is a brilliant... No wonder we used to do it before, you know. Pre-Christian. Yoo-hoo. Before the nuns were breaking their arses on potties. You know.
And all the rest of it.
I'll tell you, you sent a few beauties to Scotland as well.
Did we?
The 12-inch ruler.
I know.
Billy Connolly.
Yes.
Irish nuns always found a D in my name. They go, Billy Connolly. There was a
Connolly.
Billy Connolly. Oh, unhappy women, it's a shame. I liked them though. I had several relatives who were nuns. Yeah.
This is hard to believe, Billy.
And priests, I still have. Oh, legions. I'm the black sheep of the family.
No.
I was you see, we were a typical Irish immigrant crowd. My grandfather came to Scotland and when he was a boy. And he was a shipyard worker, a labourer. And then my father was an engineer and all that. And most of his brothers were engineers. And after that, it's mostly school teachers, civil servants, priests and nuns. And me. Language is our thing.
Yes. Are they proud of... Was your father proud of you, by the way? No.
No. Didn't like it. I did a thing about Jesus and he really disapproved. And he never really quite got over it. He was scared to come back in case I was still doing
This was
it.
on stage?
Aye, I did a funny Last Supper thing. And he deeply disapproved.
How funny was the Last Supper?
I can't remember. It was nothing compared to today. It was just, you know...
But he didn't like
Jesus would come in the room and they were all eating Chinese takeaways. And he says, where'd you get that? I said, oh, Judas bought them. He seems to have come into some money.
Yes, and?
I can't remember it.
Anyway, so the daddy didn't like it?
My father hated it. He was a kind of devout Catholic, and he took it very seriously. Well, but it had a very... And he shouldn't have liked it. It wasn't meant to like it. It was supposed to irritate people.
Of course, yeah.
And,
but did he say so to you? Did he say
many times.
Did he?
He never found me funny at all.
Didn't he?
I think fathers and sons have a hard time anyway, at the best of times. I wanted him to like me better, but he didn't.
And was he funny?
Oh, yeah.
Was he really?
Aye. He did a great thing that I wish I could do. He could impersonate a fight just himself. You know that way when people fight? It's the funniest thing. You know, when you see a fight in a movie, it's all choreographed and bash, take that, biff, biff, bonk.
Yeah.
Well, fighting isn't actually... It's a dirty, sweaty, snotty thing. And people run at each other and they hold on because they're both scared. And when they're hanging on, you can't hit the person, so you go like that. And then all the friends join in, and it's like a body of about 40 people all hanging on to each other. Well, my father used to do that and make me scream, and his brothers were very funny as well.
So he just didn't think you were funny?
No, he didn't find me funny. But I don't find my son funny. And I came in the room once, and he was talking to his pals, and they were howling with laughter.
Yeah.
I think there's a thing that happens with fathers and sons. I think you get jealous.
Yeah.
You know, you get jealous of your son.
But you see, they would expect your son to be funny because he's your son.
Well,
so
I don't know about them. Yeah, because he goes with a kind of rock and roll hip crowd. I think they find me a bit strange, but you know what I mean? You think you know what you're doing. Have you ever been with your kids to choose clothes? It's heart-stopping. You think you're trendy, you know, and you think you know about what's happening. And your son's like 17, and you go, "That's a nice shirt," and he goes, "Oh my!" you know, he doesn't go, "No, it's not my cup of tea." He goes, "Oh, for God's sake! My father's had a stroke." That thing he picked up, did you see it? You know, you're from another planet.
You feel that size.
There's something happens.
Yeah.
But when they stop, you know, they're about 12. They like you until they're about 12.
Yeah.
And something happens to you. I don't know what it is. They just think you're a numpty. But you've got money, so they have to hang in, you know.
Do you still do the singing bit in the
I don't sing it. I can't sing. I'm like...
No. I mean the singing that you used to do when you were young, going to parties and all of that.
Oh, Harry ho! Because I made up 2 words that sounded like a drunk man. Erufo and Siribi. They don't mean anything. Erufo. Oh, Siribi, I love you. And then you change it round. Siribi, Erufo, love me too. I did it for a laugh at the party at my father's house, and that's all I had. But when I went, "Love me too," when I opened my eyes, they were all going, "Oh no!" And so I had to carry on. So I went, "Sheriff, beautiful, Sheriff, beautiful, I love you." And the last line, I had a real flash of genius. I went, "Sheriff, Sheriff," and I went. And the whole room went, I thought they knew it.
It's wonderful. What? Tell me about... do you want to talk about LA as your home? It's your home now.
I live there, yeah.
Yes. And has it merits?
It has. I'll tell you, I went there to be on the telly, to do Head of the Class.
Yes, yeah.
That has since finished. I got my own series, which has since finished.
Yes.
That was one of... Being a television man, you'll understand. Yeah. The executives changed in the television station, and the new one's coming around. Who's the Scottish guy?
Out.
It's his own series. Goodbye. Forward. It suits me. That kind of ruthlessness is okay by me. But my wife went to... My girls were at school there, and are at school there. My wife went to university, and she's a psychologist now. And she has a practice there, you know. She specialises in sex, which is wonderful.
Quite
But she doesn't go homework. And she talks dirty to people all day. And but she's duty bound not to tell me anything. It's like being in hell. And so that's why I live there. But that's, you know, she's good. And I can live anywhere and meet my requirements. Yeah. You know, I could live in Iceland quite happily. But the LA suits me because it's not like the real world. See, people say, how can you live there? It's not the real world. That's what's most in its favour. I don't want to live in the... Bosnia's in the real world. Belfast in the real... You know, it's keep the real world. I don't care. I like the unreal world. I was driving through LA one day. I have a hot rod, because I'm a fantasist. I drive... I've got the Beach Boys. Oh, I'm loving it. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Right. Jesus comes... This is in Sunset Strip. I thought, what? And it's Jesus walking along. And it's the thorns, the whole thing, and the cross. But he's got a wee wheel on it. in case it wears out, you know. And I thought, I'm glad I live here. You know, hey, man, and Jesus goes like, hey, there. Yes. I love that. I really do.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
And I like all the crap. The bits everybody says is crap. I love it. They say Pamela Anderson and her breasts and I have 3. I don't care. Because my theory is with artificial breasts is that the wrong gender get them. Men should get them. You would never leave home again. You would have a big bag of crisps and you would grope yourself to death watching the telly.
I just got a note. By the way, why did you pierce your nipples, speaking of such things?
It's because they were there again.
To celebrate your 50th birthday.
It was my 50th birthday.
You pierced your nipples.
I pierced my nipples.
Could you give us a quick word about that, please?
Would you like to see them?
Love to. But why is what I want to know.
I just thought...
Why would you do that, Billy?
To prove you're still alive, you know. The revolution goes on. There's them and us, you know. I've always felt there was them and us, so I keep doing things that them don't do. Just to remain in us.
And can you get those rings out of there if you want?
I've taken them out before. I made a film and I had to be in the bath, so I took them out and put them back in. It's quite strange, but it's okay.
Listen to me, thank you very much indeed for doing the show.
What a gas. I'm glad I made it. I didn't think we were going to do it.
You really are
The Olympia's lovely.
Just 2 quick questions. Are you still off the jar?
Yes, I am.
Still off the smokes?
Uh-huh.
And you're looking the better for it. There's no doubt about it. Do you feel the better?
I've been doing a lot of heroin recently. I was doing a lot
Continue good health. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Gary. That was very nice.
Well done.